Survivor is heading back to the wild shores of the Philippines for another epic season.
Survivor's ready. Go!
Where superfans will battle memorable past players for the title of Sole Survivor.
I think people would be really surprised just how much I have up my sleeve.
If you could just convince yourself even that you're gonna go to the end, you're gonna go.
I am the guy that wore pink underwear. I am the guy that put on feathers.
I wear my bitchiness like a badge of honor.
I know I can take home the million.
Get ready for a knockdown, drag-out fight to the finish. This is Survivor Caramoan Fans vs. Favorites Preview.
It's combustible out there.
Welcome to Survivor Caramoan Fans vs. Favorites Preview. I'm Lisa Welchel from Survivor Philippines. While some of you may think you know what it takes to be on Survivor, let me tell you firsthand, it takes an awful lot to get to the end. We'll introduce you to this season's castaways, plus we've got a sneak peek at the first immunity challenge. But first, Jeff Probst tells us why Survivor is revisiting one of their most successful twists.
Fans versus favorites worked really well the first time. The big question really comes down to what is a favorite. It doesn't mean the audience loved you and you're a hero and they rooted for you. It can mean the audience despised you and rooted against you.
And the fans have to make an impact on viewers as well.
But they're actually really fun, good players. And so far in, early into this season, they have not disappointed.
The new season of Survivor will kick off with an epic opening day.
Right out of the gate, we put them into a challenge. We specifically chose a physical challenge because we wanted to get the animosity growing. It's going to be a roller coaster, and I think a lot of stuff is going to happen.
Now it's time to meet our first favorite, and my personal favorite. He's one of the strongest competitors out there, as I know from my season. That's why I had to vote him out at Final Four. Sorry, Malcolm.
Knowing that I was coming out here for a second season back-to-back, my mind's still very much in the game, and I'm not really considering, you know, the sentimental value of Survivor right now. I'm more thinking about how I have to get rid of 19 other people. I recognize everybody out there. I know how they played the game before.
Malcolm's an obvious favorite. I don't think there's any explanation needed. He has everything you want in a Survivor contestant except $1 million check.
Though Malcolm knows his fellow favorites well, his season hadn't aired before Survivor Caramoan Fans vs. Favorites.
The other returning favorites haven't seen me play. And there's going to be a stigma attached to that because the only other person to ever do this is Russell Hantz, and who has a certain notorious reputation. I'm really not his biggest fan, but I do like how he controlled every aspect of the game. And that's what I admire about the way Russell played the game, and that's what I try to bring when I'm out there.
Russell's nephew, Brandon Hantz, is also back. But don't expect him to play a Russell-style game.
I love you, Uncle Russell, but bro, I played Survivor too. I made it pretty far, and I don't think neither of us have won, so chill out.
The younger Hantz says he learned some big lessons from his emotionally charged first time on Survivor.
It was pretty bad, actually. I cried a lot. I didn't realize that it was a game that you had to, you know, stab people in the back. It just didn't hit me. I took the game and made it into a kind of a real-life experience for me, when really it's just a game.
Is it possible for Brandon to last 39 days and not lose his mind? If so, he's got a pretty good underdog story.
During his season, Brandon gave up his immunity necklace. But one of the most infamous blunders was on the original Fans vs. Favorites, when then-fan Eric gave away immunity and was voted out by a strong female alliance.
In the first Fans vs. Favorites, Eric was a fan. Now he's a favorite. That's how big an impact he made that season.
It was a pretty big blunder. For about a year, I replayed it over and over, and I had trouble sleeping sometimes.
The 27-year-old plans to use the other players' perceptions about him to his advantage.
I'm going to try and kind of play up the fact that I'm just a dumb kid.
And he's thrilled to take part in another Survivor adventure, this time as a favorite.
Now we get to go again and maybe not screw up so bad.
If Eric has to beware of strong female castaways, Brenda from Survivor Nicaragua might be his biggest threat.
I've learned so much since playing one time that I feel like if I just had that second chance, I'd be able to do so much better. This time around, I'm definitely going to have more than one alliance. That was a big mistake last time. I'm definitely going to be friends with everybody.
And though the athletic beauty used flirtation to advance in her original season, she says things will be different this time around.
I would never ever disrespect my boyfriend that I have right now. I'm more than just a girl that's going to flirt with you to try to get something from you. I'm not that girl anyway.
If Brenda comes out and says, I'm for real, Brenda could win.
I'm really looking forward to watching these favorites play. And we'll meet more later in the show. But now, let's get to the fans. We all know you can't judge a book by its cover. And that's why this bearded renegade may be the fan to watch.
When you choose to have a look like I do, you know, having tattoos and a really long beard and long hair, people are going to judge you. Within 5 minutes of talking to me, they'll realize that I'm not just some crazy Neanderthal troll, you know.
Matt has to come out of the gate and say, don't judge this, because I know I look different than you, and that's not good on Survivor. People get rid of people who are different than them.
I'm going to make people laugh. They're going to want to keep me around and try to use that to my advantage to move as far along in the game as I can.
At first glance, 23-year-old Boston University grad Laura might look sweet and inexperienced, but she's far from that.
Laura's biggest problem in this game is going to be Laura. She has a high opinion of herself, and with good cause.
I graduated a semester early, and I'm now working in D.C. in U.S. Middle East trade. I started traveling internationally at 15. I went to Fiji, Australia, and New Zealand. And from there, I really just developed a passion for traveling. I love learning about different cultures, and I think in the game of Survivor, that's going to help me because I'm going to be more culturally aware.
She brings all these things into the game, and she feels as though because I am bright and attractive, much smarter than you will ever be, I'm going to waltz to the end. That's not how Survivor works.
Sergeant Shamar Thomas is guaranteed to be an intimidating presence. The 27-year-old ex-Marine and now community activist already has survival skills that will help him cope with all the challenges of island life.
I feel like I've already been on Survivor in just a different way. I did 2 tours in Iraq in 04 and 06.
He's a war vet. He's probably going to have a lot of people rooting for him because he wears his emotions on his sleeve.
I think my natural size and charisma kind of is going to put me in a leadership role. My whole strategy is to stay as honorable as possible, but I do want to make people uncomfortable. I want people to want to go home.
Guys better watch out for 23-year-old pageant Princess Hope. The former Miss Missouri is a law student willing to do anything it takes to win.
A lot of guys are going to be attracted to Hope, and that always screws guys up. No matter how much they come in saying they won't be swayed by a beautiful woman, they often are.
I grew up in southeastern Missouri, camping and fishing, and I think that will help out. I competed at Miss USA last summer. It was kind of the same type of mental competitive atmosphere. I think that those preconceived notions of me will be to my advantage because I think we'll get there, and I think then they'll realize that I actually am a competitor and there to win.
Later, it's your first look as the tribes duke it out in this incredible immunity challenge.
Survivor's ready. Go!
And up next, will this salesman win over the female race car driver?
I do flirt, and I flirt well.
You don't want to mix business and pleasure.
Plus, it's Francesca and Philip, round 2.
I definitely am not looking forward to having to live with Philip again.
There is more Survivor Caramoan Fans vs. Favorites preview coming up. Welcome back to Survivor Caramoan Fans vs. Favorites preview. I'm Lisa Welchel from the Final 3 in Survivor Philippines. This fresh-faced fan has raced to many victories in her life, but it might take more than speed for her to catch that $1 million prize. As the first female race car driver to win the prestigious Skip Barber Racing Series, 21-year-old Julia is used to being the underdog.
People surely underestimate the female race car driver or go-karter, and I just found that as soon as I proved myself on track, I got a lot of respect from my competitors.
This Stanford student has been racing since she was 10 years old, and life on the track has helped her gain the strength
You have to have huge upper body strength to maneuver a 3,400-pound car.
and endurance needed for Survivor.
It gets to be 130 degrees in the race car, so I'm used to extreme heat for prolonged periods of time, and I think that won't be as much of an element for me out on the island.
Julia is actually somebody that would be best off to play in the middle and let everybody else duke it out.
I think people would be really surprised just how much I have up my sleeve.
30-year-old Reynolds may be a fresh face, but that doesn't mean he's a stranger to the game.
It goes all the way back to season 2 when I was in high school. And I remember vividly thinking, like, one day, like, I can do that.
And as a successful San Francisco salesman, he knows how to handle fellow contestants.
Part of being effective in sales is being very honest and forthcoming with people. There will be some times when I'll probably have to break some alliances. I'm not looking forward to it, but hey, it's the nature of the game. Flirting is a big part of the game. People that do it and do it well go far in this game. I do flirt, and I flirt well.
I found myself tilting my head going, do I believe his story? Because if I believe it, he's very charming and likable. If not, he is a snake.
This is just another adventurous chapter in the life of me.
When I started watching it, I was like, this is amazing.
The love of Survivor brought corporate event coordinator Michael to the Philippines.
Michael is a huge personality. He's a guy that could be a leader, but I think he's savvy enough that he could be a follower.
Michael may be savvy, but he may also be a force to be reckoned with when it comes to physical challenges.
I'm also going to have a hidden kind of like athleticism that people aren't going to expect. I'm kind of a closet jock. Crazy makes me crazy. So if someone is not being logical, I can't take it anymore and like I blow my stack.
There have been so many memorable characters who've played this crazy game, and few have left an eccentric impression like this next favorite.
I am the guy that wore pink underwear. I am the guy that put on feathers.
He is the guy who made Survivor Redemption Island so much fun to watch. 54-year-old former federal agent Philip Shepard.
I realized by putting on those pink underwear, they would make a certain observation about me. I will have another unusual piece of clothing that I'll be wearing this season. I won't give that to you, but it'll be like, I can't believe that guy wore that.
He's one of the most colorful, memorable people that has ever been on our show.
I've proven that I can outwit, outplay, and outlast 17 other players.
But to do that, Philip has to get past someone he threw under the bus on Redemption Island.
Could I work with Francesca? It would take an extraordinary set of events for that to happen.
I definitely am not looking forward to having to live with Philip again.
Thanks in part to Philip, Francesca was the first person voted off Survivor Redemption Island.
We've never had a first player voted out back, but so many people said, wow, Francesca seemed like she was going to do so well. So when we knew we were bringing Philip back, we said, we should bring Francesca back.
It might work to my advantage in that, I'm the least experienced returning player ever. My fatal mistake was that I didn't adjust. I assumed that I had time to turn it all around. I'm also going to try to, keep my mouth shut a little bit more, and hopefully we'll have a much better outcome.
There's one more Redemption Island alum vying to be sole survivor, 23-year-old Andrea.
Last time I played, I felt really stuck. I felt like I had all these strategies and I wanted to do all this stuff, but I wasn't able to go as far as I wanted.
I had high hopes for Andrea the first time she played, but when she was finally voted out of that season, she said, if you ever ask me back, I know how to play this game.
I'm going to come in really aggressive and have a lot of things hopefully going under the surface that people won't see, and I'm going to play really strong right off the bat. I want it really bad, and I feel really strong and ready to go.
Straight ahead, meet more of the fans, including the firefighter and the flirty mom. Plus, it's the return of the famous Flipper from Survivor South Pacific.
I think I'll either be one of the first couple of people voted off, or you're going to see me go very, very far.
All that and your sneak peek at the first immunity challenge of the season, when Survivor Caramoan Fans vs. Favorites preview returns. Welcome back to Survivor Caramoan Fans vs. Favorites preview. I'm Lisa Welchel from Survivor Philippines. Now it's time to meet more of this season's rookies. In his real life, this EMT and firefighter is used to dealing with explosive situations. But will that training come in handy in a game like Survivor?
A lot of my life experiences have kind of shaped me into doing things like this almost. Being unpredictable and kind of not knowing what's going on, really, it's all got to kind of gear together. I don't know who I'm going to be there with, obviously, but I think I'm in pretty good shape, Physical challenges are going to be the best for me.
His firefighter training may have him ready to face even the most grueling obstacles, but it takes more than just physical strength to become the sole survivor.
The most important skill is just not to get down on yourself. If you could just convince yourself even that you're gonna go to the end, you're gonna go.
I think Eddie's the kind of guy that you're going to have to think about when you get rid of him. If you let him get deep in the game, he could win.
It's just something that I feel like I have to do, just to test myself.
After successfully managing her business career and her bustling family life, a trip to Survivor might seem like a vacation for 41-year-old Sherry.
It's time for me to actually go and do something for myself. And I mean, I'm always working or doing something with the children and the husband. I just want to go and just focus on the game. I think it'll be easier than real life in some ways.
She's very attractive, and she's a great flirt.
I think I'm easy to talk to. I can walk in any place and find somebody to talk to. So I think that'll be easy for me. My social game will be easy.
The thing working against her will be she's an older woman. If you're over 35, you're ancient on Survivor.
Because I am older, I think that the younger girls will look more towards me as a mother figure. Whatever they need me to be is what I'm planning to kind of work in.
Preparation is key for survival, and 25-year-old Allie has been a student of the game from the beginning.
I have always wanted to be on Survivor since, the first episode. I always said to my family, I'm going to be on that show one day, and finally worked out. I'm going to be on that show.
She wants to be out here, and typically when people really want it, because they love the game, they're willing to bleed for the game.
I bartend for a living, so I think just dealing with people's, different opinions and everything every day, I'm so used to it, and, saying things to make them happy because I want their money, so it's going to be a lot like that on the show. I'm so in debt from school, and I want to go back to school for, my master's, and I just can't afford it. It's not even fathomable right now, so I definitely need the money to get out of debt and then start life.
If she plays it well, she will put herself in a position with a strong alliance with people that are less likable than her, and she has a shot.
3 returning favorites already went head-to-head on Survivor South Pacific, but only one managed to flip the entire game in a different direction. Wonder what kind of impact he'll make this time.
I'm legitimately nervous about my fate. I think I'll either be one of the first couple of people voted off, or you're going to see me go very, very far. The fact that I got a call, I couldn't help but say yes. That's the thing about Survivor. It's a very intense experience, unlike anything you experience in your real life.
As a super fan of Survivor, it was easy for Cochran to return to the game.
I'm aware I'm never going to be a physical asset. I'm going to have to coast by on, I don't even know what. My charm? Apparently I wasn't charming last time, so I don't know if that's going to change.
This is not a guy who should be on this show. His skin has never seen sun. He doesn't know how to find food or fish. He's afraid of the water. But on any given day, anybody can do anything in this game, and that's why we want Cochran back.
He's back, along with 2 of his Survivor South Pacific competitors. One was voted out due to Cochran's flip to the other tribe.
It's kind of a bittersweet thing. I voted out Dawn, and Brandon voted out me.
Cochran's flip, for me that was really personal. It affected my game, absolutely affected all of Savaya's game. The whole Survivor experience changed my life. I mean, I got physically fit like I'd never been before, and I wanted to continue that, and I think just mentally it prepared me to do things that I don't do in my everyday life.
The fit 42-year-old Utah mom has a different plan for her second time on Survivor.
I don't know that it matters so much who you play against. I paid more attention to that my first time, and now I'm thinking a lot more about strategy and not so much about the personalities.
She just has to now get over the hurdle of how am I being perceived and just play the game.
I still have a lot in me to prove and to do, so I'm excited.
From one of the nicest contestants to a castaway on the opposite end of the spectrum, Corinne from Survivor Gabon is the final returning favorite.
I wear my bitchiness like a badge of honor, and I can take it as well as I can give it.
There's no question Corinne's a villain.
There's only one reason you come back to do Survivor. It's to get that $1 million that you missed the first time. I enjoy money. That's what I enjoy. So I came back because I want that $1 million.
But this time around, the now single 33-year-old plans to use a new strategy on her quest for that check.
This time I plan on using flirtation as a tactic. Now, I get that I'm not like the hottest player and I'm not that young anymore, but if I can use it, if the opportunity presents itself, I will.
I don't think Corinne can ever win this game, but I do think Corinne can help or hurt somebody else from winning or not winning this game, and that's why it's interesting to watch her.
Now you've met all the contestants. Let's see how they fare in their first immunity challenge. We'll see if it's as tough as the ones I had to face.
Survivors ready. Go!
Sorry, you'll have to wait to see who wins. That's it for Survivor Caramoan Fans vs. Favorites preview. Will a favorite win this time around? Or do you think a fan has what it takes to make it to the end? Tune in to CBS Wednesdays at 8, 7 Central to find out. And want to stay close to your favorite stars? Be sure to like TV Guide Network on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Thanks for watching.
Go!